Hello, Star Trek fans. Welcome to ReBinge It. This is the ReBinge Star Trek Voyager podcast. My name is Kim.
And my name is James.
And we are rebinging Star Trek Voyager from the beginning, one episode at a time. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we are on Season 3, Episode 24, Displaced. This episode aired May 7th, 1997. Before we talk about this one, anything to say about last week's incredible episode, Distant Origin?
No, it was perfect.
We did a long one.
Yes. Well, it's such a good episode. It's actually better than the Rick and Morty dinosaur episode.
Well, I'll have to take your word for it.
You know how you said the episode Harry and His Women? That was like one of those episodes that makes people think Star Trek is sort of silly.
Mm-hmm.
I look at that last episode, Distant Origins, and I would say that is an episode that really nicely encapsulates the best of Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, completely. It's just we've had some episodes this season that have reminded me of the bad parts of the original series, which is disappointing. But the original series also had some just incredible episodes.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I remember I did a talk one time at work. We were doing like a team building thing, and we had to talk about hobbies. And I talked about this podcast and how to make a podcast. This was a while ago because I knew there were a lot of people in the group who didn't watch Star Trek. I talked about what Star Trek was. And I put right in the presentation, I put, it's just part of Star Trek that there are terrible episodes mixed in with these really good episodes. And we just accept it as part of Star Trek and we just move on to the next one.
Yep.
And it's so true.
Yes.
And then this week I did a little leadership talk and I opened by saying everything I ever learned about leadership I learned from Star Trek. So I try so hard to make my work all about Star Trek, and I can't figure out why I also have to do other things.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about Star Trek.
Maybe if you were a showrunner.
I'm in the wrong business is the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, should we get started?
Yes. Although I will say, I remember this episode, and I would have put money on it being a TNG episode.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
I did not remember this one. I watched the next episode because we're trying to record a couple quickly, and that one I did remember, but this one, no. This one was a mystery to me. But I could see you thinking it was a next-gen episode.
Right.
Yeah, it would have fit into any of the shows. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I should probably get started. We open on Tom and B'Elanna leaving the holodeck, where they were playing a Klingon martial arts program. B'Elanna really does not like the program, and Tom is being, I would say, a total jerk, trying to convince her that it's a really good workout. And it ends with him asking why she got so hostile. It's like, Tom, dude, she doesn't like the program. Accept it and move on.
Well, maybe because you antagonized her, that might be why she's getting hostile.
Yes, that's very possible.
It's quite disrespectful, really, of her feelings. This is something we used to talk about on the Deep Space Nine podcast all the time, where I just felt like the crew was so insensitive to Odo's feelings. You know, they almost pretended like he didn't have them.
Yeah.
And here, Tom is so focused on her being hostile, but it's like he's completely oblivious to the fact that she's already uncomfortable with this Klingon nature that she feels like she has to fight all the time. And then he's trying to bring it out of her. And then when it comes out, he says she's being hostile.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude.
Tom, have you ever dated before?
Well, maybe not well.
Good point. It's like I would not take you into a hologram simulation of a Monty Python skit.
Well, and then poke at me for not liking it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'd go in with your eyes open. I don't think you're under the impression that I could be persuaded to like something I don't like.
Yeah. Thinking about it, what you said there, I could accept this if Tom had studied some of the Klingon cultural norms. You know how the Klingons, if they're interested in someone, they get sort of aggressive or antagonistic towards them if they're attracted to them?
Yeah, but that's not what this is.
Yeah. And plus, if he had any sense, he knows how B'Elanna is kind of sensitive about the aspects of her Klingon nature.
Well, he's so insensitive about what her sensitivities are.
Yeah, okay. So that wouldn't work, because you should be able to figure out, B'Elanna doesn't actually embrace that.
No. There's a way to be respectful about it, to talk about it, to bring it up or whatever, but to keep pushing her into it and then complaining about her behavior when she didn't want to do it in the first place, that's just really selfish.
Yeah.
On a small scale, it would be like if you wanted to go to the beach, and you know how I feel about going to the beach, and then you drag me to the beach, and then we get to the beach, and I don't like it, and I complain about the sand and the heat and everything and the people, and then you get upset that I'm not happy at the beach that I don't want to go to in the first place. It's just like, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point. You were bound to get into this situation.
You're the only person I know who refers to sand as, it's just dirt.
It's just the dirt. I was listening to, I think it was Amy Poehler's podcast the other day, and she had Seth Meyers on it, and he was talking about how much he hates the beach. And I was like, yes, me too. I completely understand.
Getting back to the show.
Sorry. When it comes to relationship stuff, we have a lot to say. That's like the one thing we know about.
Yeah, I think, that's true. Anyway, Tom and B'Elanna's arguing is interrupted by a guy appearing to transport into the corridor, and he seems completely confused about what's happening, and into the opening credits. Back from the titles, and the guy who's transported in is very confused, saying he was walking home on Niria 3, and then all of a sudden he was here. He also complains about how cold and bright it is on Voyager.
Was Niria really the planet, or was that made up?
I think that was made up.
Okay.
I mean, it might be their home world, but I don't think he was on Niria.
Oh, right, because they were on a ship,
Yeah. In sickbay, Janeway and Tuvok are interviewing the alien, and he has no idea why he's there. The doctor's going to run some scans, and he describes his homeworld as orbiting a red dwarf, and Janeway comments, it doesn't sound like any system they've encountered.
In the rewatch, I'm like, he's lying!
The doctor comments that Kes is late for her duty shift, and then the big kicker. The computer reports Kes is no longer on Voyager, and she left at the exact moment the visitor arrived.
Now, okay. First of all, if somebody's late, do we not automatically ask the computer where they are? I don't know. I think that's silly.
Right.
But mostly what's silly is, why doesn't the computer just tell us when somebody leaves the ship? Like every time. Just for fun. Tell me anytime someone leaves the ship.
You'd think Tuvok, of all people, would have an alert set up to do that.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know, maybe in the 90s, did we not know how to do that? Because now we alert
we definitely did.
Alerts are part of now normal life for everybody.
Yeah.
Your watch alerts you, your phone alerts you.
Well,
but did we not know then about observing things that were going on and alerting?
Maybe it's because the writers are non-technical. We were in heavily technical jobs.
Yeah, maybe.
Still are, really. And alerts and monitoring was a part of our day-to-day life. But if you were in a writer's room, that stuff is science fiction. In engineering, Harry and B'Elanna cannot find any strange energy readings when the alien arrived. She casually asks Harry if she seems hostile. And it's quite funny, as she's being a little bit Klingon here in the way she's asking Harry. It's like the only correct answer is no.
She gets more and more hostile as she asks if she's hostile.
Yeah, she gets a little bit aggressive.
I feel like Harry can say, sometimes? Like right now?
And Harry does look like he's afraid to answer B'Elanna.
That was cute. I actually thought that was pretty funny.
Well, Harry, being the genius he is, does detect a surge in polaron particles. But as B'Elanna walks to another console, we hear a quiet whooshing sound, and Harry vanishes. That was a very nice touch, because if you listen to it just very quietly, you hear the transporter sound.
Oh, yeah. And Harry, always the first one to go.
Yeah. And on the bridge, a woman has appeared, wearing the same style of clothes as the first guy.
I did like all the costumes they show in these scenes as these people are appearing. They're all different, which I did like. They have different patterns, different colors, because sometimes we will pretend like an entire planet wears the exact same thing.
Right. I mean, it was all effectively the same style.
Yeah, it was
but
similar.
They had different coloring and patterning.
Yeah.
Cut to one of the crew leaving a turbo lift and then just disappearing in the same transporter style of flash. And another confused-looking alien appears in the Hollow Resort program. And the holo characters do at least seem pleased to see him.
Yes.
On the bridge, Tuvok reports that increasing shield strength seems to have no effect, and then disappears too.
And they're sort of running out of the actors that they're paying. And so there's one scene in the montage where somebody disappears, and the guy left in the scene just hits his comm badge, but he doesn't say anything.
Oh, funny.
Because we know what he's going to say, because it just happened 5 times. But I thought they couldn't even pay him to say whatever his name was to the bridge.
Give him a line.
Give him a line.
In a briefing, Chakotay is reporting in 3 hours they've lost 22 people, who all appeared on the Nerian colony as if they are just switching places. Tom has gone through the star charts with Damar, that was the first alien to appear, but he's unfamiliar with this area of space, so he's no help. B'Elanna doesn't know what's causing this, but suggests it could be a wormhole or a subspace flow, but she does throw out it could be technology like a transporter. Janeway orders for the Nerians to be confined to cargo bays and to post security. Chakotay points out that they haven't seemed to be threatening, and do just seem to be confused by all of this. And here we get a great line from Janeway where she says, "I don't care how they seem. All I care about is I've had a knot in my stomach since the first Nerian arrived. Something about this is wrong. I can smell it. Love it. It's those captain's instincts. I think perhaps Janeway is now finally starting to get a real feel for the Delta Quadrant. It's the quadrant of jerks."
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I have some advertising slogans for the Delta Quadrant. Why you might want to visit it.
Yeah, or why you maybe wouldn't want to visit it.
Here's the first one.
Yeah.
The Delta Quadrant. And you thought the founders were bad. Next one. The Delta Quadrant. There's more jerks than just the Borg.
Oh, man. Where the Borg aren't the worst of us. Today is the day we're releasing Favorite Son, which is that terrible episode with Harry and the women that you referenced earlier. And one of the things we complained about in that episode was that they just immediately accept that Harry was the alien. Right. They don't question it or push back. So I really liked it here when Janeway is suspicious.
Following the character traits.
Sure. Yeah. She's like, sure, they seem innocent, but slowly my entire crew is being replaced.
Yeah.
Which, yes, that's the logical thing.
Back to the show. Well, Janeway notes that each exchange has happened 9 minutes and 22 seconds apart, which I think should be setting off everybody's alarm system at that point. And she points out, in about 18 hours, the entire crew will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Back from a very dramatic ad break, and Janeway's recording a log. Do you want the start date?
No, thanks.
It's 12 hours later, and over half the crew has now disappeared. And we see there are now lots of Nerians. Janeway tells Chakotay to put them where she can keep an eye on them. And in engineering, B'Elanna tells Janeway and Chakotay that a Nerian astrophysicist told her about a strange graviton reading on their colony. And using this information, B'Elanna has found what appears to be a wormhole on Voyager. Janeway calls Neelix to find the scientist, but as she's talking, she too is beamed away.
Yep.
Another outside shot of Voyager, and they seem to have actually just stopped in space. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Might as well. Don't want to run into any more wormholes.
On the bridge, we have a new face. There's a new woman, a tactical. And she's even got lines.
She does. She even has a joke.
Yes. I mean, I hope she lasts longer than Ensign Kaplan.
Well, they didn't kill her.
Yeah, she doesn't get a name, though.
No. IMDb says she has a name. It's Ensign Lang. But maybe Chuckles never said it.
Yeah, I don't think they said a name. Although, Kaplan, we still remember you.
Yeah.
Even if the rest of the ship doesn't. Or even acknowledge you were gone. Also, we see there's now only her and Chakotay. She reports Neelix has now disappeared, and there are only 40 crew left, and more worryingly, over 100 Nerians. Chakotay now seems to give up on his normally understanding and friendly tone, and orders all systems restricted to authorized voice print, and putting force fields around sensitive areas. And if he was really smart, he'd order, and vent all the Nerians into space, because you can't be too careful.
Well, okay. Yes, it's true. He says he's locking things out with voice command or whatever, but somehow it doesn't make any difference.
Right.
Because they're still able to do whatever they want on the ship. I kept shouting, what do I always shout when things like this happen? Gas them. Release the gas.
Neurosine gas. Get
everybody.
Get the doctor to do it.
Just don't gas the bridge. You got 2 people on the bridge. That's it. Gas everybody else. And now you can lock them all up.
That's true. That's an effective way. Not as effective as my approach, but,
Well, but you can't vent everybody in the ship because there's still 40 crew members. I mean, later he could have done it.
Just the cargo bays. Back to engineering, and B'Elanna is working with the Nerian scientist. She's scanning the wormhole and finds it has no quantum level fluctuations, which apparently is impossible, and concludes this isn't a natural phenomena. As she's working, the Nerian takes out the only other guy in engineering and takes his phaser.
Yeah, the security guy not paying attention. He's like looking at the warp core. I mean, come on, an old scientist dude just knocked you out.
Was this supposed to be security?
Yes. I think that was the security guy. And he's looking around.
I guess he's the bottom of the barrel. I mean, they're pulling the guys who get the F rating or something. Yeah.
Maybe. All the good ones had already been kidnapped.
Right. Well, B'Elanna's figured it out. The Nerians have been behind this all along. The scientist begins tapping some buttons on the console, telling B'Elanna, I'm moving you to the head of the line. And B'Elanna too vanishes.
And she just stands there. What? I don't understand why she couldn't give the computer a voice command. I mean, we're so bad at this sometimes. Like, she didn't even duck. She didn't do anything. She just stands there, lets him start pressing buttons on her computer.
Computer, activate force field.
Computer, gas the room.
That would also
Emergency transport.
I guess they were being a little too trusting in this one, which seems odd for someone with so much Klingon heritage.
Yeah.
We now cut to B'Elanna standing in what looks like a small outdoor area with the other crew members, where we see Cass, Tom, and Harry. She tells Janeway she thinks the Nerians are responsible, and then 2 armed Nerian guards enter the square, taking her comm badge. And I believe Janeway's reply should have been, well, duh.
Yeah. Catch up.
Janeway tells B'Elanna the Nerians won't answer any questions, but have left them with food and medical supplies. There are other compounds scattered through these woods with the other crew, as Tuvok has gone off to investigate them. They don't know what planet they're on, and Tom notes, all of this seems a little too idyllic. Back to Voyager, only 12 crew left. They found Ensign Molina, he was the terrible security guy from engineering, and the scientist has gone missing. Chakotay goes to the cargo bay to have a talk with the Nerians, and finds they're all missing.
And Chuckles finally gets a clue.
We get some very dramatic music here as we go into action Chakotay mode, and he pulls his phaser. He calls a security alert to the rest of the crew to secure against possible intruders, as we see the Nerians climbing through the Jeffries tubes, and the first guy to appear, Damar, is issuing orders to take control of weapons. So, this guy is not only behind it, he's in charge.
Yeah. I remember in Twisted, when Tuvok left the bridge, he was supposed to be in charge and he left the bridge. And I was like, dude, what are you doing leaving the bridge? And I have the same thought here. What is Chuckles doing leaving the bridge? He should instead be securing the bridge.
Right.
And again, gassing everybody. But no, he leaves the ensign on the bridge and just heads out.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I think Janeway needs to have a talk with her senior staff.
Stay on the bridge, secure the doors, gas everywhere else, or you just turn the temperature way down, freeze them out, turn the lights all on bright. You know what they don't like. But no, I'm going to go down there and have a stern talking.
I'm going to wag my finger at them. On the bridge, the Nerians are now breaking in, and there's a brief phaser fight with the usual tactical standard of Starfleet. You stand straight upright and just shoot until someone takes you out.
Until somebody shoots you. She did get 2 of them at least.
That's true.
Before she went down.
I noticed the other crew member here didn't seem to be just helping. She was just standing there while Miss No Name gets phasered.
She felt bad when the ensign went down, but that was about it.
In engineering, one guy is putting up a fight, but he goes down too. And I notice when the camera pans in that shot, there are a lot of stunned Starfleet crew, and only like 2 Nerians.
Yeah.
Is Starfleet really that bad?
Yes. We are unprepared for things like this.
Yeah. I guess maybe they're Maquis, and we know how terrible the Maquis are in any kind of battle. Back to Chakotay, who's at a control panel with another member of the crew, and he finds the Nerians are everywhere, and they're even decrypting access codes, concluding they prepared for this before they got here. Second, well, duh, of the episode.
Yeah.
When Chakotay turns around, Larson is gone.
Yeah.
And at least this guy got a name. This is so where you need data to encrypt the computer. Chakotay finds there's only one guy left and orders him to sabotage everything he can get his hands on. And This is where I expected Chakotay to go all diehard on the Nerians. And would you like to know the amusing joke here? I'm sure it's deliberate.
Okay.
The other guy who's left with him is Ensign Gennaro. And Holly Gennaro was Bruce Willis's character, John McClane's wife.
Oh, do you think that was on purpose?
I'm sure that was on purpose.
I suppose it could have been. So just, down to the last two.
On the bridge, the Nerians have taken control of most of the ship, but they can't get navigational control to work. And we see Chakotay actively sabotaging some systems and watch as the warp core shuts down. Note here, at 9:03 precisely, there's a really weird bit where Damar, the Nerian, gets up from the captain's chair and walks to the helm. And it looks like they've speeded the footage up. If you watch the movement, and not just him, but the two Nerians in the background, it seems sped up.
Yeah, you showed that to me a couple times, and at first it kind of looked like maybe he tripped, and that's why he went faster. But then when you look in the background, the two guys in the background also move a little faster.
I have no idea what that's about.
Yeah, there's some little glitch in the Matrix there.
Cut to Chakotay climbing around in the Jeffries tubes, causing chaos. He finds the Nerians are trying to delete the Doctor. Chakotay calls Gennaro, but he's gone. And Chakotay only has 2 minutes before he too is beamed away. And my note here says, blow up the damn ship, Jean-Luc.
Yeah, if you're the only one.
In sickbay, Chakotay downloads the Doctor into the mobile emitter as the Nerians break into sickbay. The Doctor does manage to take one down with a hypospray, and as Chakotay palms the mobile emitter, he too is beamed away. Or should we say wormholed away?
It's beaming.
Off to the compound colony, and B'Elanna is messing with the Doctor's mobile emitter. Tuvok has returned from his scouting mission and reports they've found 10 compounds holding all the crew. This is cut short when a Lyrian woman arrives with 2 armed guards to address them. She announces this is their new home. Their vessel will be used to defend the Nerian acquisitions. And I got a total Alexis vibe here from Deep Space Nine Paradise.
I had the same feeling. I'm not sure if it's because she kind of looks like her, or she was sort of, her mannerisms were sort of similar, like the way she sort of extended her neck when she talked. There was just, there was a very Alexis vibe. That was in the episode Paradise. A good one.
Oh, it was a great one. She confirms this is how they operate, changing places with the crew of ships, space stations, and even colonies, describing it as far more effective than warfare. Certainly for them,
Certainly more cowardly.
She continues saying, they went to great lengths to create an environment in which Janeway's crew will be comfortable. They have food replicators, and they've downloaded literature and entertainment from the cultural databases.
Great.
This actually sounds like quite a nice vacation resort.
Yeah, if you were just going to be spending the weekend there.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting there till you die.
Janeway tells the Nerian, we will find a way of getting out of here. And then the clone of Alexis replies, your lack of gratitude is unbecoming. Oh, this one is a gem.
I think that's when maybe we got the Alexis vibe, yeah.
Yeah, that's the moment. She finishes by telling them, if you want to be miserable here, that's your choice.
Yeah.
And she leaves, beaming out.
She says something like, we aren't a cruel people after stranding everyone in a tiny space to die. It's like, nice.
Right.
Yeah, that just happened in the previous episode where that the lady in red, the
dinosaur
head of the
first
ministry or whatever, where she said something like, I'm not unreasonable, after being just completely unreasonable.
Yeah, totally.
The actress here who's playing this Alexis-like character, she was actually on Deep Space Nine, but not as Alexis, as she was a Klingon in Once More Into the Breach.
Oh, funny. That's kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a great episode.
Top 5, I think.
Oh, easily. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to say for the record, Core lives. Tuvok continues detailing his exploration to Janeway. The colony is completely surrounded by natural barriers. Janeway concludes this whole thing is holographic, and we see a shimmering in the bushes. And then a lizard-like alien appears through the distortion. He welcomes them, introducing himself as Jarlath. He's their neighbor. I also have to comment on the makeup effect. A very good alien. The way that they've, given him this, again, almost reptilian look. And if you notice, they even did his hands.
I did notice. And the thing I like in this scene is that no matter what that faux Alexis says, no matter what this alien says, no matter what's going on around them, they are just like Janeway did in that episode where she had the virus and she was stuck on the planet with Chuckles. She is just like not going to stop trying to get off, right? I'm going to solve this problem. And they just, even when that woman beams away, they're like, yeah, okay, see ya. And they just go right back to planning how they're going to get off of this planet or whatever they're on. Mm-hmm.
We learn through Jarlath his people are living in a different environment on the other side of the portal. His people, too, were taken by the Nerians, the same as Voyager. Jolleth seems really interested in the human food and wants to trade, explaining how it took him 9 years to find the portal. And Janeway works out a trade for information, as he seems to really like the food. And it's kind of funny, because Janeway's basically holding 2 baskets of food in front of him, and he's like, "Oh, I look forward to our collaboration."
Yeah.
This guy has simple needs.
Yes. Well, he's been stuck in this, whatever this is, prison for 9 years.
Cut to nighttime, and B'Elanna is modifying the Doctor's optical sensors so he can detect the microwave signatures of portals. The Doctor describes it as he's being used as a tricorder.
Oh, yeah. Do you think they've got beds and changes of clothes?
They didn't have set budget for that.
Yeah.
They do have replicators, so they could replicate some stuff. Or are they just food replicators?
And sonic showers, Neelix mentions later. So I guess they've got showers. Yeah, probably just food replicators, I would think. Yeah. Otherwise, you risk them building tools and weapons.
Right. I do feel this is where Geordie's visor would come in really useful.
Yeah, well, they essentially build that.
Or later, those awesome optical implants he had in the movies. That was really cool. While she's working, B'Elanna tells Tom that perhaps she was a little bit sensitive to the Klingon program. And this just actually leads into a bit of an argument about B'Elanna being defensive, Tom pretending nothing bothers him, and how he tries to turn everything into a joke. And this is kind of all really caused by the Doctor giving a clinical analysis of their behavior.
After each sentence.
Yes. At one point describing B'Elanna's behavior as an aggressive outburst as a shield against perceived emotional threat. And commenting that her observations about Tom are valid. Tom gets kind of petulant and storms off, basically saying that he doesn't know why he even tries to be B'Elanna's friend.
You could try apologizing for being insensitive.
Yeah.
And that would probably change the entire paradigm.
Right.
But no.
And I think that kind of disproves his statement about how he's an easygoing guy.
Yeah. Right.
I do kind of lament this scene. I see what they were going for.
Yeah.
But it came off as so clunky. And Tom seems like he's just really emotionally immature, like a petulant teenager.
Yeah. And they really, again, sort of only put it on B'Elanna because she sort of owns up to her behavior, but Tom doesn't.
Right.
And, yeah. The cute thing in the scene, though, is as the Doctor keeps diagnosing them after every sentence, B'Elanna, reaches over, presses a button, and mutes him. I really laughed. And now he's, talking and you can't hear him.
Yeah. I feel they could have worked harder on this.
Yeah. We're not great at relationships on this show, as we have established.
Yeah.
Of the sins we have committed in relationships, this one is not that bad. I find this one watchable. Yeah. Whereas there was some stuff that went on, think of the nonsense they did with Sisko and Cassidy, remember? Yeah. Where he would just, not talk to her, and you and I would go, what just happened?
Well, Miles and Keiko.
Oh, well, so many offenses with Miles and Keiko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off to Chakotay and Tuvok is constructing homebrew phasers. Chakotay finds it funny that Tuvok is able to improvise so easily. And we learn that Vulcans are actually very good at it when the need arises.
I would think so.
The funny part here was when Chakotay says, "You assume it's going to work." And Tuvok just says, "Yes."
Yes, the confidence.
Yeah. We learn a little more about Tuvok here as Chakotay brings up survival training at Starfleet Academy. And Tuvok tells him how he already learned how to survive. During the Rite of Talos, he survived in the Vulcan desert for 4 months with only a ritual blade. So how many Vulcans don't make it? I assume in a more modern era, this is actually just a really extreme survival exercise. They're monitored while they're doing it, so if they're injured or starving, they can be beamed out.
Yeah, there's a button to press, and you failed, but you don't have to die.
Then you just have to live with the shame of not completing Talos.
Right.
Not that Vulcans have shame, but you still have to live with the shame.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I wonder, wouldn't some of the Maquis and maybe B'Elanna be good at improvising weapons, or is she too busy with the Doctor?
Yeah, her job is to figure out the walking tricorder, and Tuvok is doing the weapons. Although later she shows she's good with the weapon as well. I think everybody had a job.
Yeah. Well, what's Harry doing? I mean, shouldn't Harry be working? I mean, Harry's really good.
Yeah, what is Harry doing?
you should have been having Harry on this, because you would have ended up probably with a super weapon that could have actually blown holes through the hologram.
He's just like walking around looking for something.
Yeah, he's just eating the food. He's just, yeah.
Oh.
He's like, I have unlimited rations. I'm just eating, what is it you like, Sundays or something?
I don't know.
B'Elanna is now following the Doctor as he scans for the portal. And Jarlath tells Janeway he's been trying to get out for years. And the closest he came was finding the portal. He also tells her his people do quite enjoy their environment.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you get used to it. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Did you notice that he was there, like it got dark and then it got light again? So did he sleep over?
I assume so.
Did he not sleep? Did he leave and come back?
I assume it was just a sleepover adventure for him. Then bingo, the Doctor finds something. And Jarlath tries his device, opening a new doorway. And Janeway and Tuvok head out into the dark corridors outside the hollow environment. Why didn't Janeway get a phaser here? I mean, she loves shooting things.
Yeah, they should have been building a double-wide one for her.
Janeway sends Tom, B'Elanna, and Jarlath in a different direction, and they head out exploring.
The lizard guy was really squirrely in this scene, and I was suspicious of him.
Yes, me too. I mean, he is actually pretty funny, because at one point he says, I don't think we're supposed to be here.
Duh.
Tom and B'Elanna find another environment, and inside it's like a rainforest. B'Elanna opens another door, and it's a rocky, steaming shoreline. She describes them as self-contained biospheres, every one of them different. So clearly they have some pretty significant holographic generation power.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tuvok and Janeway have found a control station and manages to get Voyager's translation algorithm to start decoding it into English. She finds there are 94 different environments. Tuvok, of course, manages to bypass the security codes, and they discover they're on a ship, and Janeway finds the control center. But their messing around triggers a security alarm. Cut to the woman in charge, the Elixis clone, calling Damar and Voyager, telling him of the escape, and he authorizes her to use force. We also learn they've still not got warp back online, as Damar wants to return to the habitats. On the habitat ship, B'Elanna and Tom are looking for Janeway, but Jarlath wants to get back to his environment, and he's not very adventurous. He lags behind and is immediately caught. And hilariously says, it wasn't my idea. They made me come along.
Yeah. They went that way.
Yes. He's also a bit of a snitch, telling the guards which direction they went.
Yeah. He is comfortable in his life here and just wants to get back to it.
Yeah, and try some of the human food. At what appears to be the control center, Tuvok swiftly takes out the Nerian on duty using the traditional neck pinch. Good job. And Janeway gets to work, as they found the translocator the Nerians used to get onto Voyager.
I was constantly amused by how dark it was. I mean, it was darker than even normal on Voyager.
The lighting budget was one 40-watt bulb.
Yeah, and I really think they use that as a tool so they don't have to build out really detailed sets, because it is so, you can't see anything.
Voyager is now at warp, and the Nerians get a transmission from Talene. She's the Elixis clone, finally getting a name, telling them armed lifeforms have accessed the control room and they need reinforcements. Tom is now in a firefight, and the phaser is running out of power. B'Elanna finds a good habitat to hide in, a frozen one, seeing as the Nerians aren't very good in cold. And there's a funny scene where the Nerian guards stop at the doorway, and Talene just orders them all in.
Yeah, she's like, follow them.
Yeah, but she doesn't.
I'm not going in there.
She stays behind. I'm like, yep, that's the kind of leader she is.
Yeah, yes.
Some of you may die. It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yeah.
Back in the control room, and Tuvok notes the translocator has an extremely long range, over 10 light years, and Janeway figures out the distance limits its capacity, which is why they only sent one person at a time. Tuvok also notes this trick gives the impression of being innocent at the beginning. All the while, Janeway is trying to find the command pathways to get the system operative. You know, they could wake up the guy who's just lying on the floor behind them. Did you notice that? That actor is still there, most of the time.
No, it was too dark. I could never see anything.
I mean, wake him up, have Tuvok torture him for a bit, and get all the information. I am pretty sure a Vulcan security officer could think up some pretty imaginative methods of interrogation. And most importantly, they could morally justify it as well, with logic.
Oh, well, yeah, it was logical. Mm-hmm. It's funny how much time Tuvok and Janeway have, without any interruption.
Yeah.
It just seems like they go on scene after scene after scene where nobody's bothering them.
Okay.
But Tom and B'Elanna are constantly under attack.
I have a theory about that. The Nerians basically sent everybody over to Voyager.
Oh, so they're just down to like 4 people.
Yeah, so they've basically shot themselves in the foot. Of the 4 or 5 people we see on the station, that's all that's left. They've left literally a skeleton crew. Why she calls Damar and says, I need reinforcements. Because you've taken everyone.
And because they just had no idea what they were doing getting Janeway and crew.
Well, yeah. There are some people you don't mess with. They fall under the don't mess category.
Mm-hmm.
In the Arctic habitat, Tom and B'Elanna are evading the following Nerians.
In the fakest snow ever. It looks like we either were just using white foam everywhere or we spray painted one of the caves. It could not look less cold.
It did not look cold, no.
No.
Tom's phaser is almost dead, and they find a place to hide. B'Elanna isn't taking this well, as Klingons have less tolerance to cold than humans. I guess you didn't get any human characteristics of being able to handle the cold?
Well, they do say later that it's like 29 below Celsius, right? So that's like 20 below Fahrenheit. I mean...
That's pretty cold.
That's pretty cold.
I mean...
You and I have been in cold.
Yeah.
That was like 30 below. And you get instant frostbite. You can't be uncovered.
Yeah.
So it's quite cold.
Yeah, and they don't have any gloves or anything around their heads.
They have exposed skin, even if the uniform is able to regulate temperature somehow, which I think we've hoped that that's what those uniforms can do, that they're not just polyester like they appear. But yeah, with exposed skin, at very least it didn't look windy, which is good. But still, at that temperature, you're going to get frostbite really quickly, human or Klingon.
You're going to end up with hypothermia in no time.
I really liked the joke here where Tom says something about, I thought Cardassians were the one who didn't like the cold. Yeah. And she just says, no, they just complain about it more. Excellent Star Trek joke.
Yeah, that one is kind of on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
As B'Elanna begins to work on the phaser, one of the Nerians finds them, but just collapses in the cold. As a second one appears, B'Elanna takes him out with the phaser.
And they don't seem to grab the weapons of these guys.
Yes!
Get the weapons.
You only have one weapon, which is starting to fail. Take one or both of the weapons from these guys.
Oh, the weapon was done. She said she only had 1 shot left and she took it.
Oh.
Yeah, so you got nothing. You got a club.
Yeah. I mean, you might need gloves because your skin would totally stick to the metal at those temperatures.
Yes.
Well, assuming they're metal. But maybe the Nerians' hands were actually frozen onto them.
Oh, what a great little detail that would have been if they tried to pull the gun off, but their hands were frozen to it. And then they went, never mind.
Never mind, yeah. I can't snap the fingers off. We'll have to.
That's the kind of detail I appreciate. I wish they had done that.
In the control room, Janeway's got the basic functions of the translocator working. And once again, we see she's more than just a big gun-wielding captain. Tuvok has scanned and found Tom and B'Elanna in the frozen habitat. I think here he says it's minus 20 C.
Well, when they're looking at all the different habitats, Janeway says it's minus 29 C, which is minus 20 Fahrenheit.
In the frozen habitat, B'Elanna is doing really badly. She just wants to rest, and Tom struggles to keep her going. He orders her to keep on the move, and they spar a little about who has seniority. But Janeway's got the translocator working, and beams them both back into the habitat, where they pretend to be cold. On Voyager, we see Damar and the scientist get beamed away and into the frozen Argala habitat. They immediately start shivering, and they can't find the portal. And then Janeway beams in, phaser in hand. Although, personally, I think she should have gone in with the rifle.
Yeah, she should always go in with the big one.
But if you notice, she has one of their weapons.
Oh, nice. See, she knew to pick it up.
Right. This is why she's captain.
Mm-hmm.
She gives her terms, surrender Voyager and release all the prisoners. Or she'll just leave them there and send over the rest of the Nerian crew to join them.
Yeah.
Damar describes this as unacceptable, but the scientist asks, and if we do surrender?
He cold.
She tells them once they've contacted the homeworlds of their prisoners and disabled the translocator, they'll be free to go. Damar is still holding out, and then she comes out with the great line, I'm sorry you don't wish to be reasonable, and calls Tuvok to beam her out. And finally, Damar gives in.
Peak Janeway. Though, again, I was shouting at the screen, just leave them there. Beam them all in there, leave them there. I mean, what they have been doing is cruel.
Yes.
So I don't understand why you're just going to let them go, disable their weapon and let them go. They'll just build it again. There's probably another one somewhere. Yeah. I don't get that. what I really wanted to happen, desperately, was I wanted a sort of Janeway at the end of Thaw moment where they're like, we're cold. And she beams away saying, I know. That would have been so good.
That would have been brutal and awesome.
I don't understand why we're just going to let them go. I would say, at the very least, let some of the other aliens decide what to do with them, right? They're the ones who have suffered more.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Cut to Voyager, now flying through space again, and Janeway recording a log. Do you want the stardate on this one?
No, thank you.
The other prisoners have contacted their homeworld and are waiting to be taken home. In the resort simulation, B'Elanna comes to see Tom, sitting next to him. She describes the events as pretty chilly in there for a while, and it feels good to be warm again. Tom replies, yeah, it sure does, and leans back in the recliner, smiling. B'Elanna looks at the grinning Tom and smiles. The end. I don't think she was referring to just the Agala frozen habitat there.
No, clearly not. It's such a TV and movie trope where people who are attracted to each other just bicker endlessly. I can't say I've really ever seen that happen in life ever, but I've certainly seen it on television 1,000 times.
I describe it as it's an old, tired trope.
Yeah. I don't remember the two of us bickering when we first knew each other.
No, not at all.
No. Although we do know couples who bicker.
Yes, we do.
All right. Well, I know you've got overanalysis, so...
Okay, to answer one of your questions.
Mm-hmm.
I assume the translocator is either stolen or scavenged technology. They didn't create it or build it.
What is your evidence?
Because it seems like they have one ship with it. What's to stop Damar going to a different ship or another colony that the Nerians have with this technology? Or it's extremely hard to build, and they've only managed to put it on one ship.
Yeah. They weren't inept because they were able to take over Voyager once they got on there pretty quickly, and even somehow bypass all the security stuff that Chuckles put up, so...
Well, I assume they'd use the translocator to maybe transport a subspace shunt onto Voyager, and were pulling all the information that way.
So they knew in advance?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when they were trying to put security codes or encryption codes on the computer, they were just watching them actually type the codes in.
Could be, but Chuckles said voice code only.
Well, if they've already gained control of the computer, they could then just disable those codes, the voice codes, even though Chakotay was ordering it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's my point. They seem like they weren't completely inept.
Yes.
But
I would agree.
It does make sense that maybe in their early days of conquering or trying to conquer, they came across this technology and took it for themselves. Like, maybe even this ship was something they stole. Well, probably, right? The ship was probably a thing they stole.
Right. I didn't think of that. Maybe the whole ship, all the technology is stolen or scavenged. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's true, then you could destroy the translocator, shut down their whole method that they use for conquest.
Yeah, maybe. But they didn't have that many people on the ship, so it can't be their only ship. Well, I guess it could still be their only ship, and they've got a colony somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe they use civilians.
What are they doing? What are they winning by doing this?
Right. The fact that they're taking other ships like Voyager to say that they're going to defend the Nerian acquisitions.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
It does point to maybe they don't have a lot of technology. They're taking other people's ships. They can't build new ones. And it seems like this hollow ship, their habitat ship, must be pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
So I think maybe they are actually technically behind and they're using acquired technology. And that's the only way that they work.
Yeah, I think headcanon is doing a lot of work there. Because,
it's doing a lot of heavy lifting, yes.
Yeah. Because does that mean they just have this one ship and they send it out to go and get more ships? They just do it like one ship at a time.
I feel that's the implication.
And how did they get it the first time? Unless this was some ancient technology they just found.
Yeah. Well, maybe they were more warlike, but they had like low warp ships and they just literally lucked into it.
We talked about I can't remember which episode, but it was definitely a Voyager episode where maybe they just got lazy. Like maybe they used to be a more warrior-like society
Yeah.
And then over time, they've eroded to this.
Oh.
Because they've gotten complacent because of this tool that either they built or found.
Yeah.
And now they don't know how to be warriors anymore. They just know how to steal things.
That would also work as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't even understand the technology anymore.
Maybe not.
That would be quite a downgrade.
But we should have taken that technology.
Oh, completely. Taken all of it.
Yeah.
That could be pretty useful for Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
And that does seem to be something that they don't seem terribly keen on, leveraging technology that they run into.
Except for the mobile emitter.
Well, the mobile emitter was Federation technology just from the future.
Yeah. Still from the future. And you're still going to screw up a timeline.
Potentially.
But we don't care about the future timeline.
Next thing. So the prisoners, once they've all been freed, do you think the Nerians are all going to die tragically when the life support in the habitat that's holding them tragically malfunctions and turns off?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's going to go well for them once Voyager leaves. Maybe that's their plan. Like, here you go. Someone else can dispense justice.
I'm washing my hands of this. You guys can deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those other races, I mean, if there's 94 of them, might look at kidnapping, stealing ships, space stations, colonies, as kind of an act of war.
Well, it was an act of war. They even said it.
This could forge a whole new alliance of wronged races joining together and literally wiping out the Nerians.
Yep. Leaving death and destruction in our wake for 7 seasons.
The word Voyager means death and destruction in over 100 worlds.
Totally.
I mean, and just the prisoners who are left behind. Some of those people will probably be at the throats of the Nerians given a chance. So yeah, I think that might be a case of Voyager, we're just going to move on and leave this chaos behind. You guys have got it, right?
Well, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, next thing. So they had access to Voyager's computer, I assume using the translocator. So I guess if they're smart, they would have put together a prioritized list of who to remove first. Like they took Harry out pretty quick because he was starting to figure out what was going on.
But their list was kind of dumb then because they left Chakotay to the end.
Right. You would think you would want to grab the senior officers relatively quickly just to cause confusion on the ship.
I was thinking that it was sort of randomly picking people from different locations to not put too much suspicion into one place.
Right.
Also, I think that would cause more panic and confusion within the crew if they did that. Yeah. So that's what I thought. And so then, maybe it was just purely random. And then he moved up B'Elanna only because she figured it out.
Because she was an immediate threat.
Yeah, and he was just like, oh, we got to get her out quick. Although what he was doing on the Voyager computer that moved her up, hand wave.
They so need alerts, like somebody's been messing with the computer. Alert, check the logs.
Random people should not be able to just start using the console. I just...
Right.
Put anything, DNA, do something. And I stand by just gas the place. I don't get why we don't gas it.
You would make sure there'd be Neurocene gas canisters on every corridor.
It would be somebody's job to check those constantly. Those things ready to go. Buttons in Janeway's pocket.
Yeah. With a number of times somebody's boarding the ship. Yeah. Press the button.
And we set up a shortcut. Only the bridge crew has the shortcut, right? All they have to do is shout some particular word that you would never say.
Computer, asparagus.
Exactly. And it gasses everybody.
Oh, actually, you could make it even easier. You could, have the phrase of Janeway saying, computer, we surrender the ship to these aliens.
There you go. There you go. And you have 2 different ones. One that is gas just this room.
Yeah.
And the other is gas everything but this room. And that's it.
I like it. That's yeah.
That's it. You don't have to blow up the ship every time. You just gotta gas it.
I'm with you on that one.
There are times where I am just like talking to the television when I'm watching it. And this is one of those episodes I was shouting at the TV a lot during this episode.
How do you not know Kes is missing?
Ridiculous.
Next point. I question the strategy that the Nerians are using.
Yeah.
If they'd gotten to the logs of Voyager and knew what the ship was like, you could, in theory, do this. When the first guy, Damar, transported across, have him keep up the I don't know how this happened. I'm so confused. What is happening? Have him pick a local star system near where their transport device is, have it hide behind a moon, and then ask Voyager to please take him home. It's only a few light years off their course.
Oh, yeah, then you beam all of them.
Yeah, and then when they get close enough to the translocator, boom, one shot, you transport all the crew off in one go.
Okay.
Because what they were doing here seemed a lot higher effort and a lot more risk.
Maybe, okay, here's my headcanon.
All right.
Maybe this is like the C crew, F troop.
Oh. Oh, this was the C shift.
Yeah. All the other shifts have real warships. They can go out and attack and fight and whatever. Yep. And these guys are like, you guys just, you figure it out. Or I wonder too, even if that's not what this ship was for. I mean, maybe this is a prison ship for, when they've taken over other ships. But maybe the people just on this ship have decided, oh, we can do it too.
Oh.
But they're just a bunch of, not necessarily engineers. They're just prison guards who figured out how to do this.
Or maybe these are all the F troop. You get sent to that ship when you screw up really badly.
Oh, so, yeah. Okay.
I like that headcanon. That's really good.
Yeah. So they're not that smart because, that's the obvious thing. Just take us closer and then boom, we do 148 people at once.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my last one is the Nerians. They are so lucky. So lucky. Lon Sutter wasn't around. I'm picturing the crew beaming back on board, piles of Nerian bodies, and a very calm Sutter telling Janeway and Tuvok, it got a little messy.
Oh, yeah.
Lon, your name will be remembered, along with Kaplan.
Well, the thing is, it would have been hard for him to know that was happening because he was locked in his quarters, remember?
Yeah.
So unless somebody beamed into his quarters, which would have been quite random, but I see your point.
And with that throwback, that is the end of my overanalysis. Over to you.
Remember in the episode Macrocosm when Janeway went into Ellen Ripley mode and got the guns out and started working to save her ship?
Yeah, she has a secret bug-out kit hidden in engineering.
There have been a lot of episodes across Star Trek where the captain is left to sort of, as the only person, right, to save the ship. And I guess since we already did that with Janeway, maybe we didn't want to do that again here, but I think she would have made a good commando, too, at the end, trying to do everything she could to sort of save the ship, which would have been funny. Yeah, we've already talked about my overanalysis points, except the only thing left is the last thing I was shouting at the TV while I was watching this episode, and that was the first time through, not the second time. I was just like, leave these suckers in the snow and put all of them there and leave. I was fed up with them, and
they are pretty despicable.
They're pretty despicable. At the end, when the guy has no leverage, and she's saying, here's what we're going to do, and he's going, oh, unacceptable. What are you? Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, see ya. Don't talk to him. Do just what I said. You just beam away. I know. You're going to die here. Yeah.
We're cold. I know.
It's cold. Too bad.
Wow. You're almost as bad as me. And
I'm not like that very often, but there are times where I just, no. These guys, no.
Yeah.
If I go to Women in the Future, not much to say there. The relationship stuff continues to be clunky. But again, it's not the most egregious of sins that we've seen with relationships on Star Trek. So it's not bad, actually. They're trying to give them, it's almost like banter from Moonlighting, would have been something closer to that timeline. I mean, before, obviously, but still. Sam and Diane on Cheers, right? That sort of bickering stuff. So they're kind of playing off what TV was like in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Whereas today, it would be a vampire. One of them would be a vampire.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Buffy, too, was in the 90s, but after this, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so then going to Janeway's leadership corner, just a couple things to say there. I liked that Janeway was suspicious from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And
great captaining instincts.
When she's not suspicious, I think it's out of character. We get mad about it, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
She should be suspicious, because there was also the episode with Oily G. She was not suspicious enough there and got her into deep trouble. But Tuvok is always suspicious. So, those two should always be watching out for the crew, because if you make a mistake, you're affecting everybody. So you've got to be more cautious. But we've talked about that many times that she's not cautious.
That's one of the things I really like about this episode.
Yeah.
The characterizations are consistent.
Mm-hmm.
They're not having to make anybody do a 180 in everything we've seen them do to make the story work.
Well, even Chuckles is consistent when he says, they haven't shown any hostilities because he's normally the really calm one, the one who de-escalates. So,
exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. But also when she was like, no, he went, okay, which that's the way that should work.
Right. And then when they found the guy who'd been knocked out, Chakotay goes straight into, okay, giving them the benefit of the doubt is now over.
Well, but he still just was going to walk to the cargo bay. I think right up until that point, I was with Chakotay. But at that point, when he heard that, he shouldn't have been walking down there and leaving the ensign on the bridge. And the bridge was then unprotected. That, I think, was a mistake.
Okay, headcanon. Chakotay, being more conciliatory, was taking the approach of maybe this is the actions of an individual, not the group.
Okay, but you could have called the cargo bay. You did not have to leave the bridge, or you send the ensign to the cargo bay.
That's true. That's true. Well, I don't know.
The bridge.
He gets ensigns killed.
I am wildly opposed to the person in charge leaving the bridge.
Yeah.
Especially when there's nobody else there.
That's true. They're down to limited crew.
Yeah. The no-named ensign who's never done it before.
Yeah, that's a poor command decision.
Yeah, because there was no member of the normal bridge crew there. If anybody else had been there, it would have been different, but no. So I did not think that was great leadership.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say down on the planet. They weren't on a planet. On the other ship.
On the Habitat ship.
Yeah, in their little prison, their holographic prison.
Yeah.
It was great leadership that, just like in Basics Part 1 and 2, never give up. It doesn't matter what's going on. We are getting out of here because we always get out. Yeah. And that's good leadership, and I did like that.
You don't push Janeway around.
No. All right, let's go to rating. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or neutral. What is your rating?
Absolute thumbs up. What a great episode. Thoroughly enjoyable. What a really good turn it makes when you realize, there isn't somebody else behind it. This is their invasion technique. Yeah. Such a great episode. I love the consistency of the characters. I think everybody really just clicked in this episode. And a great resolution at the end. I mean, Janeway holding all the cards.
Yeah.
Absolutely solid, great Voyager episode, and also rewatchable. And honestly, I'm surprised I haven't watched this episode more.
Yeah, I agree. This is a solid episode. I give it a thumbs up. I like the ending with Janeway in the snow, with holding all the cards, just like you said. I wanted a little more drama there, obviously, but I did like that. And we talked frequently in episodes where they just left, but they didn't resolve what happened.
Yeah.
There was the one with the Vidians where they had captured a bunch of people and were basically torturing them, right?
Pulling them apart.
Where we just left. We got our people off and left, and we didn't say what we did about it. And so I liked here that at least we wrapped it up. Yeah. We said we saved all these aliens who were being held.
Contacted their home world. And
yeah, at least we put a bow on that part of it. And then I think you and I can from there assume that they came back and dealt with the Nerians.
Yeah, everything got a lot worse for the Nerians after that.
Yeah, so I agree. There's obviously things to pick on about it, but I still think it was a really solid episode.
Yeah.
Okay, that wraps up Season 3, Episode 24. Come back next week for Episode 25. In the meantime, if you'd like to send us your own overanalysis of this or any episode, or if you just want to say something nice, you can email us at ReBingeIT@gmail.com. We are also on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube at ReBingeIT, or you can join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Star Trek TTM podcasts.
Thanks for joining us on the ReBinge Star Trek Voyager podcast.
That's it for me.
And that's it from me.